Hello, everyone, and welcome to our kickoff session for the Toronet Hackathon. It is extremely exciting to welcome everyone tonight, also from the Toronet team. And in tonight's session, of course, we'll speak about the hackathon, we'll speak about Toronet, and you will have the opportunity to ask questions. This meeting will be recorded because I am sure that not everyone can participate in tonight's meeting. The recording will be uploaded on the landing page of the hackathon on techFiesta. And everyone can watch it later or rewatch it if you have any questions regarding the hackathon, the structure of the hackathon, and what is expected from you. So I would like to start with a round of introductions before we start speaking about the hackathon. My name is Maria, and I am from the Ecolens team, and the Ecolens is the company behind techFiesta. We are helping Toronet in setting up this hackathon, and we're promoting the hackathon for them. The hackathon will take place on techFiesta, which means that the hackers will be submitting their project on techFiesta and can review all the information about the hackathon through the techFiesta platform. We also have a Telegram group and a Discord server dedicated for questions. If you do not have a team, you can also find a teammate in the Discord server or in the Telegram group, because working in a team is always better, more efficient. You can get more work done and create a very successful project that will have a chance to win. Here on this call, we have the techFiesta team and the Toronet team. Very quickly, Emmanuel here is our developer relationship manager, so he will be answering any questions from the developers, and Prosper is our community manager and social media manager, so any messages you get on social media, they're from her. And I would like now to give the word to the Toronet team, maybe Ken first, to introduce yourself, introduce Toronet to us, please. And yeah, let's kick off the hackathon and also talk about the expectations and what the hackers should be building.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Maria, for that wonderful introduction. So today is the start of the hackathon. It's a 1 month long hackathon, so it's not a sprint, right? It's a 1 month long process. We expect to have several projects participate. A few of them have already reached out and expressed an interest to participate. We have slides which we'll be presenting, which Timon is going to be sharing. With me on the call is Bolaji Akimboro, co-founder of Toronet, and he will introduce himself. And he will kick off the introduction of Toronet, what Toronet is about, and the kind of projects we are looking for. Also online with us, I see Dr. Wenhai Lee. He's one of our lead developers in a technology group. So you guys will be interacting a lot with him, as well as with a number of our developers at Toronet as you develop and build your project. I see also online, we have Timony, who is in charge of marketing, the marketing outreach, and she will also be explaining some of the marketing tools we have that assist our projects that build on our platform. And also Webster Sambo, he's a community manager. You will be interacting with him a lot because, this is, Toronet is a community, and we have a lot of initiatives that we use to assist projects as they grow. Also, we have Michael Ortega, who is a project outreach coordinator for us. So you will probably be interacting with him as well. And so I think with those introductions, I'll hand it over to Bolaji while the slide come up so that he will introduce himself.
Thanks, Dr. Kenny. And pleasure meeting you, Maria, and thank you everyone that has joined the room. My name is Bolaji. I'm one of the co-founders of Toronet, and I work out of Abuja in Nigeria. I'm going to spend a few minutes just talking about Toronet, and I'm just waiting for Timony to start the screen share. Timony, I can't see the screen on my end. I don't know whether anybody can see it on your end.
It's not yet up.
I have my screen shared. I just
okay. Maybe you
stop it and retry.
Yeah, and you retry, or I try to share from my end.
Let me know if you can see it or if you can't. Okay.
Okay, why don't you try again?
Can you see it?
No, it says
No, I can't.
somebody has started screen sharing, but it's not showing. All right, Balaji, can you try to share from your end?
Yeah, let me try to share from my end.
Okay, yes, we can see that.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, okay,
Explain.
great. I mean, the theme for this hackathon is quite straightforward. It's about innovation, it's about impact, and it's about winning big. And I'll start by defining what exactly is Toronet, because this question of what is this thing called Toronet is super, super important. And this is what we are. Many of you have heard of open banking, you've heard of open API, and you've heard of open data. And probably, maybe this is the first time you'll be hearing about open fintech. So when you think about Toronet, you think about an open fintech platform, which is really a platform that enables fintech services to happen for everyone, everywhere, all the time. But in this case, based on tokens, because we believe that tokens are the future of financial transactions in emerging markets. And emerging markets means most of Africa, Latin America, and some parts of Europe. So that's what Toronet is at its core. And as we talk about the products, it gives you a clue into more. I'm moving into my next slide, which I've already spoken about, which is what's really our vision. And it's a simple vision. We believe that technology should serve people and finance should serve people. You know, the society today in many parts of the world is built on debt. You know, and while debt is good, we believe that debt should serve man, not man serve debt. So we see a world in which everyone, you know, has got access to financial services and technology services that serves them. And our mission is very simple. We just want to enable communities to tokenize their economies. And the way we see the world is that when you see a country is made up of many, many sub-communities. If you use tokens to enable those communities, you're going to transform those communities. And I'll give a North American example. If you look at people of color, Black American communities, when you look at house ownership rates in, let's say, Atlanta, it's way, way lower than for many other communities. But are Black American communities poor? Emphatically, no. But they've not really had the tool to organize themselves. So tokens allow them to organize themselves in a super important way that makes them a bigger part of the financial system. And that North American example that I gave is the reality for many people in Africa. So that's about us. And what's our ethos? What drives our platform? It's really about three things. One, we believe that blockchains must be useful. It's about utility. We don't think blockchain should be about tokens that have no utility and just going up in price. Those things are not sustainable. The second value that is very important for us is native knowledge. We believe that those that know how economics work for them should drive their own development. And then the third bit of our ethos is that we believe that financial services and tokens can be embedded in all kinds of things. And as we talk about our project, you see real world examples that we have. So this is our ethos. And then I'll speak about the product just a bit because Dr. Kenny will speak more about this. The only thing I will talk about the product is that we built a full stack product, or a full stack platform. Because on one ecosystem, you've got the settlement layer, which is the blockchain itself. You've got the asset layer, which are the tokens that exist on the blockchain, which is the native token, which is the Toro. You've got stable coins, that represents various currencies of the world, and then you've got all kind of digital assets on the infrastructure. And then you've got the smart contract layer. And the smart contracts is what powers our DEX, that's our decentralized exchange. You've got lending protocols on the platform, and you've got other DeFi applications. And at the top layer is the applications layer. And that's what this hackathon is about, which is, can we bring together developers from emerging markets and beyond to build interesting applications that solve real problems using our infrastructure? That's essentially the idea. And one important point I want developers to note is that every platform says, go bring money to develop smart contracts on that platform. Toronet is saying, hey, deploy your smart contracts, deploy your projects, start making money and pay the projects. And that's why we call it inverse tokenomics. So those are the things I'm going to say. And then at this point, I'll hand it over to Dr. Kenny and Dr. Wenha. Dr. Kenny, do you want to share screen on your end, or you want me to continue sharing for you?
Yes, let's keep the screen sharing. So thank you so much. That's Bolajan Kimboro, and I thought he was going to mention a little bit, but he actually has a lot of credibility and experience in the financial industry. He was a co-founder of Cellulant, which was a multi-million-dollar African fintech. So he has a lot of experience in fintech, right? And he's had so many projects in many countries in Africa he has worked on. Myself, I'm also in the financial industry. I'm based in New York, and I've been in the financial industry for over 15 years, and also in the blockchain community for about 7 years now. And together with that team, including Dr. Wanhai Lee, who is a foremost technology expert as well, we came together after looking at the landscape, and we saw some of the issues that was impacting adoption of blockchain. And in fact, I would just call it generally the emerging financial technology in many of the areas in the global south, and especially in Africa, right? So what are the things that we see? We see that the financial industry is changing. It used to be that we only had government store value, only governments could store value. But then Bitcoin and blockchains changed that. And now we see real value is able to be denominated in public infrastructure. And then, of course, things went even further. And some of the government organizations double back, and they created versions of theirs, which are called CBDCs. And that is added now into the mix. And also you now even have private blockchains. So the financial industry and the landscape is changing in the next few years. And Africa is part of it. Some of the biggest adoption that we've seen of the new emerging technologies is in Africa. And one of the reasons is because the financial industry has not served many of these regions very well. In fact, many of the regions continue to really do fall much more behind year in, year out in terms of access to financial services. And what that means is you're having economies that are developing and growing, but young people with ideas who can actually do things are not able to participate and bring their talents and ingenuity to bear because they have no access to ways to realize those things, right? And this is one of the key drivers of growth. I mean, in the United States, for instance, they say, oh, it's small businesses that's the driver of the economy. It is true, because when young people have ideas and they have the education, they have the wherewithal, they need to have access to tools, and they need to have access to finance to realize that dream. And because of the lack of that, you find that young unemployment rate is very high. Another symptom you find is there's a lot of participation in what is called an informal economy. A lot of young people in these countries, and you guys that are online, you know this, many people might not be in that traditional mode where, they graduate from college, they go into the civil service. That's what our parents used to do back in the day. It was always, let's get the government job, or then later, let's get a private sector job. But the informal economy is growing, right? Because things don't have to be that way. And what we're doing at Toronet is providing a platform that enables that, right? And the way we looked at it was, we looked at what the current blockchains were doing. Many of them are not serving us. When you look at Bitcoin, for instance, the fees are too high and it's too slow. Ethereum also, the fees are like right now, it's like $1.29 or somewhere average. During the peak in 2021, it went as high as $9. Most transactions in Africa, about $2. So clearly Ethereum is not going to work, right? But then you do also have other projects and blockchains that came in, and those are cheaper, but they still had some demerits, right? You build a project and you ask people, oh, pay in Bitcoin or pay in Ethereum or pay in USDT or pay in near USD. Most people in those economies don't have that. So they have to jump through hoops. They have to download an exchange, whether it's going to be Luno, Binance, or something. And in the end, those projects don't work. So many projects in Africa are really what I'll call token hustles, because they really aren't able to find tools to be successful. So they just create a token and they try to get the token on an exchange and they try to get the value of the token to go up. And eventually it may go up, right, during the Bitcoin peaks, but it's not going to lead anywhere. But we can do better. We don't have to consign to a cycle where people are just building things that are really not sustainable and not built to last, and they don't care. And many of young people might feel, okay, great, I made some funds of these tokens, or oh, I got an incubation contract, I made some funds from it. But many of them are smarter than that. They can actually build things that can succeed. The tools just need to be there. And so what are the things that we've built into this platform? It's two parts. There's the technical aspect and there's the financial aspect, right? On the technical side, and these are the resources that you guys that are programmers and developers that plan to build on this project will have access to. You do have a decentralized blockchain thanks Mojis, you do have a decentralized blockchain to build on, right? But then we do also provide decentralized API services, because what you see with Ethereum is just a blockchain. And it's peer-to-peer, meaning if you want to actually build a project that works on it, each of those projects needs to be running a blockchain. And Ethereum blockchain is too bloated now, so it's not going to even fit on most cell phones. So what people do is they connect to APIs services, and these are third-party API services. So we're back to centralized connectivity. And Infura connects, the figures I had last was like 80% of connections to Ethereum go through that, right? But we provide the API services decentralized to our projects. We provide a smart contract layer so you can deploy smart contracts, right? We provide templates so you can connect to our stable coins, which Balaji mentioned. We do have create stable coins for the projects so that they can actually create projects that work within their communities. If you're building something and you're building in South Africa, folks can use ZARs, South African Rand. If you're building in Nigeria, they can use Naira. If you're building in Kenya, they can use Kenyan shillings, because we know that that's what it takes for projects to actually catch on in the grassroots, right? So we do provide the templates to that. Then we provide payment gateways. One of the things I've seen is many projects are too small to immediately start off and be able to, sign an agreement and get Stripe to support them, right? But we would provide that to projects that we know are legitimate projects, right? And subject to full compliance requirement. That's another thing, is our platform compliance is very important, because we built for the long run, right? And we built for longevity. But that said, we provide access to those kind of opportunities. And if you have a good idea and a good project and you go build on somewhere else, and you don't have access to a gateway, your project isn't going to go anywhere, because people aren't going to be able to pay for those services. And so that's one thing that's important for projects to have. And that's something that other platforms will not provide for you. Also, exchange. Many projects build and they have no access to an exchange. Binance and any of these big exchanges will not list a tiny project. And the smaller exchanges, they don't have too much participation. So within this community of Toronet, you actually have now hundreds of thousands of users. And so our internal exchange itself is beginning to be a focal point for our projects. And those are actually the people you need anyway, because if you go on an international exchange, you have people there that are not interested in getting those tokens because they're not going to use that service. So it's better actually to have a token from a platform that belongs to your community. And finally, we do have a support developer network. Some of our developers are on this hackathon. Next slide, please. Okay, so these are the technical resources. Balaji, next slide.
Okay, I've changed it.
Okay, all right. So yes, so to the theme, right? So I spoke about the technical additions to the platform that makes it attractive beyond what the other blockchains have, right? And it's not even because we're trying to say, oh, we're better than this blockchains, because we're trying to provide a platform that will allow your projects to succeed. It's the reason why we're doing these things. We're providing these things. So yes, in addition to the technical side, on the financial side and operational side, these are the things that we do to allow projects to succeed. One, the chain is feeless. We know many young people are not going to come and build a project, and they're not coming with venture capital behind them. That's nothing. There's a big venture capital gap. That's one of the things Balaji mentioned. It's not just on home ownership. It's in every form of finance. There's a big gap. We know these projects aren't going to come and they have a lot of money. So if you build on Ethereum, you have to already have the fees. You're not making profits. You're just building. Even if you're just running a test and your customers are coming in, 2, 3, 4 customers, you start accruing thousands of dollars in costs before you're even profitable. Because this is a feeless chain, the charges only come once you actually start to charge fees to your customers, and then a portion of the fees goes to the exchange. So it's built as a feeless blockchain because we know that that's what it would take for projects in these regions to succeed. Another thing that we provide is access to an internal exchange, which I mentioned before, but also access to gateways, which is the third one. That is something that's very hard for most projects to be able to navigate. And without liquidity, the projects ground to a halt. So that's why many young people just build a token hustle. They just try to get tokens online, when actually, if the opportunities are there and there's a platform that provides it, many can do better than those projects. Next slide, please. All right. So what are the opportunities?
You see the slide, I've changed it on my.
Yes. Thank you. What are the opportunities? You bring in your skills. Many of you guys are programmers. Some of our programmers are from everywhere in the world. The United States predominantly, Sweden. We have someone from Sweden, and in Nigeria as well, and in parts of Africa. So many of the folks actually are really skilled, right? So the opportunity here is, if you bring your skills on board together with some of the resources we have, you'll get an enhancement of those skills, interacting with some of our developers. Community impact as well. You channel your talents into creating a solution for your communities, and creative breakthrough. And for this part, let me just give an example of some of the projects that are building on our platform right now. There's a project, Health Go, which went live last week. Real project went live. They're using Toronet Naira to as the token on their network. It's a stable coin, allows people to pay for consultation, medical consultation. Now, that's one of the things that is in need. The ratio of doctor to patient is like 2,000 to 1, probably worse, right? But that's one of the numbers quoted. So there's a lot of wait times and affordability as well. And online consultation, medical consultation, is one of the things that's growing. Actually, not just in Africa, but even here in the United States, right? And what they built is enable this to be done on-chain, so that users are able to pay for those consultations, and they can pay in the local currencies. So this is one project, for instance, that's built on chain. Another one that recently is developing on our platform is, of course, remittance is one big challenge, which provides access to liquidity. So we have things like Tradify. We have Agrify, which allows farmers to access financial resources to grow crops. And so this is actually primary production that even goes beyond blockchain, because you're actually doing God's work, really, because you're creating foods and adding to the overall global ecosystem, right? And how does blockchain help there? Because many of these international organizations, when they provide financing, there's something we call the financial resources, the default rates. The cost of really verifying who's who is higher for many of these international organizations, because they don't know who's a farmer and who's not. And also, the next thing is even ensuring compliance. If a farmer decides to take the funds and go get married or start a party, it's not something that's easy to enforce. With blockchains, because the funds that is dispensed, where you can actually have that token and say this token can only be used to buy fertilizers, can only be used with an agricultural input provider to basically maybe rent tractor time, then you can kind of start to, shape how those things can be used. So that's one of the powerful things that blockchain does, because it can program how resources and value even can be utilized, right? It's ushered in the concept of programmable money. So those are things, that ideas that comes with your community, and you guys know your community better than anyone does, right? No one is going to come from many of these countries and say, oh, I know and understand the problems in this region, because you are there in those communities. And that's why really we believe that the right project for each community should grow and be developed from within the community. So let's move to the next slide. All right, so let's talk about some of the things we do. There are many different kinds of projects on our platforms. Many people are developing, and from many different countries. We have a project from Zimbabwe, for instance, which actually focuses more on the marketing of agricultural produce. They have their own funding. They have their own funding, and so they just develop independently, and there are projects that are developed independently. There are projects that we ourselves are helping directly to develop. And then there are projects that receive grants, right? Which, like I mentioned, Helgo being one, right? Several projects have received grants, right? So we do provide grants to promising projects. That's one of the things our platform does. The fees that come into our platform, like, look, when Ethereum makes fees, it goes to whoever owns those tokens, right? It doesn't really come back to our community. The fees that come into our platform, actually, a good portion of it is used to put back and provide grants within the communities. And some of those grants we already give, right? And in this hackathon as well, the promising projects will receive grants, right? But separate from that, the top project is going to receive a 1,500 prize, second 1,500. The Bootstrap grant is conditional. It's conditional on the selection criteria, knowing that this project will succeed within the community. And we do have examples of projects that we believe will succeed, and they have the grants. So that depends on the ideas you put forth. Next slide, please. All right, so how do you submit? The submission requirements are here. I wouldn't read this, because in the interest of time, it's better to just go to the website. You guys know where it is, because many of you have signed up. If you haven't, feel free to ask, or just go to toronet.org. It's actually right there on the opening page. It will send you to a link, right? But what you need to submit at the end of this hackathon, I think somewhere around November 22nd something, will be the deadline. After you spend the next 3 weeks developing your ideas, interacting with us, there will be another session where we'll give you feedback on what you're building. And again, it's your project. Much of what will be sent will be just advisory. You know your communities better, and you own those projects, but we'll be here to lend a helping hand. So these are the submission requirements, which you can check later. Next slide, please. Okay, so the kind of...
gone through this before.
Sorry, Balaji.
Okay, I thought you want to go through this. This was...
Yeah, actually, I do want to go through this, the kind of projects we're looking for.
You've already spoken to this, so maybe you continue speaking to this, yeah.
Okay.
I was going to speak to this slide a little
Oh,
bit, if that's
yes.
Okay,
okay.
great.
Please
Timony,
go
yeah.
ahead, Timony.
Go ahead, Timony.
Okay, awesome. Hi, everyone. I'm Timony. I'm marketing manager at Toronet. We're excited to have all of you here. Like we've touched on, you know, the purpose of this hackathon is to really unite the brilliance of developers and project owners within our communities. And, you know, we want this to be an opportunity to where we can inspire innovation so that we can build and forge solutions that our communities truly need. So I wanted to get into the opportunity here in what that could look like with your project. Dr. Ken already touched on a couple of our existing projects that are currently live on the platform on the left-hand side. So then on the right-hand side, I would just like to speak to a couple of these track opportunities and ways that you can build on Toronet. And I'm just going to touch on a couple of them. Starting with finance. Within the finance track, your mission here could be to craft an innovative funding solution to empower your specific community groups. And this could transpire in a way of supporting farmers, market vendors, providing work tools, or financing sustainable development goals. You can include inventive ideas to drive financial inclusion, economic empowerment, and mostly just positive economic growth within your community. Operations. In this track, your goal could be to enhance operational access and efficiencies in areas like healthcare, like we've mentioned, transportation, and community services. Environmentally, this is a track where you could focus on any type of environmental challenge, contributing to a more sustainable and eco-friendly future. Social could also be another track, which would invite you to create an application to enhance social interaction within the community, to help promote community cohesion, strengthen the bonds within specific groups, and improve overall social well-being. So you kind of get the idea, right? And then I think Balaji, or you can say here, what I kind of want to reiterate of what Dr. Ken touched on a little bit is that we are truly committed to your success. And when you choose Toronet as your platform, you're not just entering a technical ecosystem, you're gaining more of a trusted partner that, you know, will stand beside you every step of the way. And we really provide more of a comprehensive support system that's designed to help propel your project to new heights. Something that Dr. Ken has referenced as almost like a blockchain plus system that we have. So a couple of ways that we support you and your project, obviously the technical support. You know, you guys are the developers, you guys are the brains behind things, but we understand that technology can sometimes be a hurdle. And to support that, we have our dedicated team of experts that's basically ready to assist you, whether you're dealing with coding challenges, smart contract issues, integrations. Basically, our team is there to help guide you through that and help problem solve through that as well. We take our support much further than just your project concept. We take you through the incubation phase, where we help you fine-tune your idea, address any concerns that you might have, help you get over hurdles that you might be facing, and ensure that your project is well prepared for a successful launch. And then through that launch and rollout, we'll be right there with you during the launch. And, you know, while we assist you in the technical aspect of the launch, we'll also make sure that your marketing efforts are on point, helping you navigate any challenges that might arise as you introduce the project to the world. With these projects, great ideas take great minds, but these great ideas also need the right visibility to be able to flourish, and we're here to help you through that. I'm constantly talking with the leaders of the projects that we have and building out marketing campaigns and initiatives to make sure that they're launching in a way that can get in front of their target audience in the most effective way. And we work through those systems and from creating effective marketing strategies to provide you with the tools to reach your target audience, we're here to ensure that your project gets noticed, gets that visibility in this ever-evolving digital landscape. And even more so, I would say beyond. Our community doesn't have an expiration date, right? We're here for you for the long haul, and we want to continue to support your projects beyond its initial launch as it evolves, as it scales, to bring you that technical support and make sure that your marketing strategies adapt to the changing market conditions. So in essence, our promise is not to just provide you with a platform, but to be your consistent companion and advocate throughout your project's life cycle. I think at this point, we would like to open up the conversation to all of you who have joined us. If you have any questions for our team.
Yeah, sorry, Timothy, let's, because I know that this is a 1 month long process and a lot of it is going to be technical. So I would like Dr. Lee to just say a few words so that they can be used to him, because he heads a technical group. Of course, it's a group with a lot of talented people. I'm going to be also there with you guys. So you guys already know me. Can you just say a few words and then we'll open up things to questions.
Okay, so hello everyone, and my name is Wenhai Li, and I'm one of the technical team member. I work with Dr. Alabi from the very beginning of this project. I just want to emphasize, what makes the Toronet different with other blockchains. Actually, the reason behind we develop the Toronet is because that we feel like the regular blockchain providers such as the Bitcoin, such as the Ethereum, they are not designed for business, and we do want to to use this new technology, to use the blockchain to solve the real world problems. We want that to develop a tool to facilitate the blockchain, right? To allow that the business people, right, to quickly adopt this technology for their own business. Why we see this? Because we already know that the traditional blockchain, right, like they have a lot of issues, like their transaction fee is too high, they're too slow. But more important is that the framework they have, okay, is actually not designed for business. For example, right, the blockchain is designed fully anonymous, fully decentralized. They are good actually, but we do know that a lot of business is not can be very easily to be changed to be fully anonymous, to be fully decentralized. So that's why we try to develop our own blockchain engine. Okay, we make some we made some modification. For example, we get rid of the gas transaction fee. Okay, so the transaction on the Toronet is basically not based on like how the block is created, how the block is mining. When the block is mining on the Toronet, actually there's no the new token, the new current cryptocurrency will be generated. That is also why that we are going to using the stablecoin, because that by using by design Toronet as a stablecoin, right? So like we will ensure that all the for every Toronet coin there, we do have a reserve money to back up it. So by this way, for business people to do the business on the Toronet, they do not need to worry about that there's a high fluctuation of the cryptocurrency price changing every day. Okay, like very very related. This is not going to this is not going to work for their business. And the second thing is that since that you know, the Toronet is not you know, for mining, right? When mining a block, there's no reward for it. Actually, what we do here is that you know, we do have a trustee board. So we will only the people you know, we will only allow that you know, the people who invest Toronet, right, who put the money to back up this stable coin, so to have the capability to run a mining node, okay, so that to have the capability to do the processing. By this way, we can ensure, you know, that you know, later on, you know, not like we will have to see this you know, high inflation of this you know, of the cryptocurrency. You know, we will not have the inflation issue here. And the last thing I would say is that you know, the changes we made the blockchain to make it work for the business, to lower the barriers for the business to use the blockchain, is that as Mr. Balaji and Dr. Ken already mentioned, we already have a lot of ready to use tools there, like the you know, the Explorer, like the wallet, like the API server, like the API, like the indexer, like the bridge to change to do the exchange with other currencies, other cryptocurrencies. We do have this all available, you know, for small developer to use directly. So this can greatly lower the barrier for them to, you know, to develop some of their own business with the blockchain. So in the end, thank you for you know, thank you for joining this you know, this event. And you know, I'm really excited to see that if there is any new ideas coming out, right, to use our blockchain, you know, to facilitate our blockchain, you know, so that we can hibernate some, you know, good business in future. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks, Wanhai. And also, Webster is a member of the team, so this is mostly an introductory call, so you guys know the folks you are going to be mostly interacting with. Webster, can you just say a few words? So we'll leave a little time for questions. Just a quick intro so they'll know who you are for future interactions.
All right. Thank you for the opportunity. Good morning, everyone. My name is Webster. I'm actually based in Tokyo. I am the community manager for Toronet, and I'll be working along with you in terms of maybe communication, bringing your ideas together, bringing the teams together, helping you bring in your thoughts with each other together, and just bringing things, I think, in harmony with each other. So that's mainly my part, and I look forward to seeing what's gonna come out of this. Sorry, my video will be off for now because it's like it's almost 2 a.m. my end. So I'm not very, the environment is very good to see. But then I'm excited about this, and I look forward to the solution that will be given out because of this hackathon. And we look forward to developing much more projects on our platform, because as it has been said before, our projects really help real life situations and bring to manifestation real life solutions that people actually need and use on a daily basis. So thank you all. It's nice to get to know you, and I look forward to working with all of you. Thank you so much, Dr. Ken, for the opportunity again. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Webster. And sorry for bringing you up at 2 a.m. We really appreciate your joining us on this session. All right, quick shout out. There are developers on, but you know, we all might not make an introduction, but you guys will be interacting a lot. Enoch, I see Enoch is online. Harrison is online, so you guys can see their profile. And we all have some of our projects that are successful. We have Divine Gift, who is running the Health Go project. We have Mojizi from Streamliver. We have, what else do we have online? We have Kolawole Elijah. I know he's one of the developers on some projects. But yeah, this is a good thriving community of folks who are interested in real solutions, right? So for all of you who will end up making it as part of this community, welcome. And we look forward to you joining us. Yeah, let's open the floor for questions. Any questions? Oh, I'm sorry, I did miss Sadiq. Sadiq is from Blockroll. He's also joined us today. Any questions?
So we have one question in the chat. The name Toronet sounds interesting. Any story behind the name?
Balaji, you should take this one.
Yeah, great. Yeah, the name Toronet actually derives from a Yoruba word. It's actually Toro. That's how it's really pronounced. When the society in West Africa was moving from cowrie shells as a unit of accounting to to coins. So what we call Toro or what we call Toronet, was that transition bridge currency. So that was why we chose that word, because we believe that money as we know it today is also changing form. And you need a bridge currency. And that bridge currency is, if I pronounce it the West African way, is Toro net. So in Nigeria, they will speak of Naira, Toro, and Kobo, or Naira, Kobo, and Toro. So it's really 3 pence in British currency more than 114 years ago. So that's the backstory.
Thanks.
So for those who come from the West African tribe of Yorubas, it actually derives from the Yoruba word Toro, or the Yoruba unit of account called Toro, which is 3 pence in the British imperial currency unit.
All right. Thanks, Sinamdi, for that question. Any other questions? Any developer questions, technical questions? I know we have a future technical session, but if you guys have any big picture technical questions. Oh, Dr. Emiri Udogu. Yes, please, by all means.
All right, thank you very much. Please, I didn't join on time. I just want to ask some basic questions. I feel this question must have been handled although. So, Toronet, is it layer 1 or layer 2, and like is it EVM based? And
Okay.
how are the what language is it written the smart contract? Is it on Solidity or other libraries? Thank you very much.
Excellent.
And also the consensus mechanism. Thank you very much.
All right. So Toronet is a layer 1, right? It's a full layer 1 blockchain with full programmable capabilities. And the language by which smart contracts are deployed is Solidity. And for ease of porting projects from other EVMs, it's fully EVM compatible, right? Now, its consensus model, we have our own consensus model called the Toronet consensus model. It's an amalgam of proof of authority and proof of stake, right? We have some documents based on it because we see that the consensus systems that are used in many of these blockchains are really not ideal for what we do, for what we have in our communities. Well, Ethereum's consensus model is too slow, so it can't be utilized for in-person finance, right? You're not going to go wait on a queue in a store and wait 30, 40 seconds for what they call for the consensus model, which first there's a 15 seconds, and then there's something they call finality, because it's an untrusted public domain. So blocks can be reversed until it goes around 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks. So you need to have finality, which means that you've gone 10 blocks and you feel like you can't reverse it. So we removed all of those. So we have our own proprietary consensus algorithm, which documentation I'm able to share, right? And of course, as part of this hackathon, we'll provide it. But yeah, our consensus system is a proprietary one that we developed for our own chain. Access to the test.
Yeah, there are some questions in the chat. So the first one is about the passwords. So is there a specific reason you opted for passwords instead of seed phrases?
We do have both, right? You can use primary keys, but you can also take your key file and encrypt it with a password, which is more convenient, right? That kind of implementation is convenient, especially if you want to build an application that's using mobile wallets. But both options are actually open. In the end, ultimately, is a private key, public key architecture, right? So every public key, really, there's a private key behind it. But the innovation behind using password is just that instead of you trying to type in a very complicated and long private key, you just have a file that includes that private key, and you encrypt that file with a password, and that's what happens. But fundamentally, it's still just a private public key architecture like any blockchain. And I see a question in the chat from Dr. Udogu, which is how do you access the testnet? The links for access is going to be placed on the hackathon page. It's a publicly open infrastructure, so the links are available. API collections will actually be provided freely to allow you access, and it includes all the endpoints. We have an RPC port for those who choose to connect via that way. So all of that stuff is part of what will be provided on this project. But from our website, you can actually see and gain access to them. Let me see if I missed any questions.
Is using the API a requirement for the hackathon?
It's not. It's just easier, but it's not. There are projects that have built and developed their own contract directly and built other receptacles to connect into the chain through their own process. So if you want to host a server and on your own end, put your application on it, if it's a web application, or even if it's a mobile application, you want to serve it from your own server, you can build your own connectivity. You don't have to use the API. All right. Yeah, we're having a lot of questions. Storages are the governance tokens of the platform. On the web wallet, it's not yet transferable. If you use the mobile wallet, it is. The Toroges, which some of the things that I don't think it's been released yet on this project, but projects do receive that because Toronet is a community platform. In the end, ultimately, those who will govern and own this network are the community, including you guys, successful projects. So everyone, most of the projects here will eventually receive Toroges, right? But Toroges is not the key focus of the early part, right? It's more the stable coins, which is Toros. Eventually, Toroges allows us to set up and vote on initiatives on the community. So right now on the web wallet, it wasn't transferable, probably will be turned on soon, and probably will be on a global exchange soon, right? But those are things that we are unfolding them more gradually. One, because we are more focused on the things that bring growth and development. Two, we'll rather have the world see what we're doing, and the exchanges are basically saying, look, we want this chain, which seems to have a lot of participation from African countries. We actually have a project also that's developing from India, but mostly from the global south. And the exchanges there's a wide bit. They're basically supposed to be the 16th largest exchange. They were saying they want to list us. Maybe we would, but the focus is right now not on transferring Toroges or moving them to an exchange, but that time will come. Does that answer your question, Kolawole? And thanks for providing that information, Divine Gift. You can download HealthGo already. As I said earlier, you can use it. And if you want access to Toroges, apparently HealthGo is providing that to folks, early adopters, people who are using their app.
So Tolu is asking, how is the network secured with no gas fees?
The network is secured because when you deploy, we don't have the ether like many VMs have. that's freely available. So projects request that. So really, only whitelisted projects do get access to a means to deploy, right? And so that's one of the things that the DAO does. Eventually, which is what DoroGis does, when a project basically indicates interest to build on the network, they submit what they want to do to the DAO, and the DAO votes on it and approves the project. So questions people will say is that, oh, all right, it's a public infrastructure, right? It's open and free. But then the community does serve as a gatekeeper. So it's decentralized voting. It's not one person that decides like a project gets on, but the community decides that the project gets on. And those projects are the ones that receive the means to deploy on the network. So that's how the network is secured.
Then another question about the money business service license,
MSB.
Toronet. Sorry?
Yes. So at the MSB license. Yeah. So one thing, like I said about that way, Platform Plus, if a project comes in and they want to, they provide financial services, they need to be able to access liquidity. They need to be able to let people pay in their local currencies and sometimes even in US dollars, right? But many projects are too small to navigate and obtain an MSB license or an MTL license, right? If this is a legitimate project that has been screened, we are able to utilize some of those licenses to allow the project to obtain, to gain access to liquidity. So that's why, as a platform, we are securing all the full compliance licenses that are needed. So MSB is one of those we have, and that is something that projects on our platform can make use of, being part of the platform. So like if someone sets up a project where people, obtain tokens through USD, you get it through USD, then we need that MSB to be able to enable us to interact and interface with fiat. This is something that's a big barrier. And if projects have to do that themselves, most projects will fail, or they'll just give up and go set up tokens and try and get on an exchange, and the token will not be useful. So this is one of the reasons why we work on those things.
Okay, can someone submit multiple projects?
Well, yes, but obviously we will be hoping that they're able to fulfill, that they will have enough time and bandwidth to run both projects. So this is a call if they send in their project plans and specifications. If both of those projects are good, then of course they will be accepted.
Right, perfect. I don't see more questions. Okay, one more question. Does this mean that with this license, project under Toronet can accept USD directly?
Yeah. Yes, we can accept USD and have it converted to a USD stablecoin, which is what the Toro is. So yes.
Okay.
And Naira as well, which you know, of course, already, because you already implemented that divine gift. Do I see any more questions? Older wallet clients supported. Yes, MetaMask, you can use you can indeed use MetaMask. If you develop tokens that are ERC20 compatible, you can use MetaMask to access it. I see one more question. If a user of an app wants to pay in Toros, which is USD, they can indeed convert USD to Toros and pay in Toros. So on chain, there's no such thing as having a fiat currency on chain, right? When it gets on chain, it becomes a stable coin. So to that extent, because there's the blockchain world, right, which is its own, it's its own, it's its own thing. You're on the blockchain world, right? And then there's the outside world, which you have the fiat. So I liken it to if you walk into a bank, right, and you deposit like $100 and you walk out and you have the app, you see your $100 there. It's a digital form. So you can now use it in the digital world to make payments at stores. It's the same thing. On the blockchain, there are projects and there are services you pay for, and you pay for them using those blockchain tokens. And some of those tokens are stable coins. Some of them are tokens that you develop, right? So, but the physical cash like USD in the fiat world, for you to use it in the blockchain world, it has to be converted into a blockchain form, and that's what a stable coin is. So at that point, the customer can use them. Does that answer your question? Okay, thanks. I think, any more questions? You're welcome. And there are some dates that is being shared on screen. Idea screening is November 6th. Tech session is November 9th, and the submission date is November 20th, and 29th we'll announce the winners. I think that's it. Maria, is there anything else they need to know?
There is one more question that just came. Aside developers, are other roles like product management needed? Maybe I can just quickly answer this from my perspective, and then you can also answer from your perspective. So from our experience with hackathons, product managers are always needed because someone has to organize the teams, right? Someone has to be responsible for the product that is being built. So you need developers in a team, but you also need other roles that are necessary, such as project management, product management. You also need UI, UX designers, community builders. So a project, in order to be successful and long-term successful, you need all kinds of roles. So I would say yes to this question, but yeah, Ken, please.
Yes, I would agree with what Maria has described. We are a community. It goes beyond this community. Developers are a key part, right? I don't want you guys to feel like you're not the stars of the show, but we do also have other members of this community, and just like Maria described, product managers are also welcome. So by all means, engage with us. Get on the Telegram, on the Discord for the techFiesta, for this hackathon, and just describe and submit what you have in mind. We might even, if you have an idea that's great, we might even be able to, within the community, get some developers or even Toronet to help in putting it in a form that can be converted into a project. Like I said, we have our own projects, and then we have incubated projects, of course, and then we have a lot of independent projects. So by all means, do not refrain from participating. Must we discuss ideas? If you're very confident in your ideas, you can go ahead and start building, but there is a chance, if there are some feedback that you might want to listen to on the idea presentation phase, November 6th, that you could be going a little bit off tangent. Like I said, there are actually some things that we don't want to really encourage on our site. We are not looking for projects that want to just deploy an ERC20 token. If you want to just deploy a token, nothing will pretty much stop you, but it's not something that will go pretty much anywhere. It's just better to go to Ethereum or Tron or Solana and go deploy the token there and try and get on an exchange. Those are not kind of projects that are encouraged on Toronet, and the community will likely not vote for it. So it's probably not going to get listed. It's just better for it to be on Tron or somewhere else. But like I said, you already listened to this presentation. If you're pretty confident about your ideas, you can, of course, start building.
One more thing about the idea session. This idea session has proven to be very useful in the past for the builders, because it's not only like, is the idea good enough? It's also about, you give tips to the hackers how to build this, right? You tell them, is someone else in the community building something similar? Or from your experience, what tools are also helpful to build this solution that they're proposing? Or is there any competition for a solution like this from like your knowledge and your experience in the market? So the idea session is not only about like saying yes or no to an idea, but also providing help in how to build really this idea with tools and with your experience and expertise.
Exactly. Thank you for that.
Yeah, we'll post the Discord in the chat. Emmanuel, could you please do that? All right. Anyone else with a question? All right. So I want to thank everyone for participating tonight. Thank you to the Toronet team for your presentation, for answering so many questions. And we'll see each other in the next session, in the ideation session, for giving feedback to the ideas. Thanks to all the participants for being here tonight. I wish you luck in the hackathon. You can use the Discord server, the Discord channel, or the Telegram to form teams. Best is to introduce yourself and to say that you would like to be in a team. Introduce yourself with your skills so you can find other team members that have complementary skills. And in case there are any questions, you can of course always ask them on the Discord channel or on the Telegram group. The Toronet colleagues are also there, so they can also see the questions and answer. I wish everyone luck and looking forward to the next sessions and of course to the projects.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Maria.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Maria. Thanks, everybody. Thank you so much
everyone.
for
Thank you.
joining.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Hello, Karim.